Hey y'all, it's me, Lynn Daniel, coming today. I want to talk to you all about the life of a middle school teacher. How it is a little different from an elementary or high school or even a college level teacher. So if you've been following my videos, you know that I teach 7th and 8th grade reading. I teach in an elementary school, but the middle school structure is applied to grades 6, 7, and 8, which means students in those grade levels, they switch classes for subject content instruction. So I teach reading. And as a middle school teacher, it is, part of my function to, along with the school function, to diagnose students' reading levels, to determine students' strengths and weaknesses in reading, to identify any deficits that students may have in reading so that we can prescribe an intervention program or some approach to help them to improve with their reading, and then also to administer the prescribed curriculum appropriately to all the students, and through differentiation, through different strategies that we use. And I do have a few little notes here because I want to, I really want to go as deep as I can, delve into this topic as much as possible, because the life of a middle school teacher is different as far as in the classroom. What we are expected and required to do is there are similarities to elementary school, but there are differences. So I just want to kind of highlight our role, because adolescents, the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are going through that phase, that adolescent phase. And during this phase, students are beginning to understand who they are as an individual person, removed from their parents, their siblings, their relatives, and their friends. They're beginning to, I would say around 6th or 7th grade, they're beginning to really identify what they do well, what they like to do, and they pretty much know what they do not do well in, as far as, if they're not very good in academics or in athletics, or if they're not good with making friends or having self-control. By 7th grade, they pretty much can point out something, in that area. But our role primarily, is to address the physiological needs. So these students are growing fast. Many of them are outgrowing the desks that are provided in school. Some of them will need alternate, when we talk about differentiating, some of them may need alternate seating arrangements. And that's why I really like the non-traditional seating that a lot of middle schools and middle school classrooms employ, because, one of my colleagues has a sofa in her class, and then she has alternative seating all throughout. She has desks, tables and chairs, a sofa with the table in front, like a coffee table. And so these things are there, even though they look cute, they're relevant to the needs of middle school students, especially those who are growing. Their legs are longer, their arms are longer. Some of them may have physical needs that require differentiated seating. So we're helping them to understand all of these components of who they are as an adolescent. We're addressing their needs as they are maturing physically. So in middle school, we have the sex ed program. 7th grade in my school is when we have that sex ed curriculum. And my school is using a new curriculum for the 2017-2018 school year. So I will be undergoing some training specifically for the new approach. But in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, students, they participate in sex ed. They learn about their physical changes. They learn about reproduction. They learn about, why their bodies are beginning to create odors when they didn't in past years. I mean, they're really getting a grasp of learning hygiene, self-care, and those types of issues. And that occurs in middle school. Responsibilities. So we try to help students to understand that as they mature, they take on higher levels of responsibility, and when they can comply and meet those responsibilities, then they pretty much earn privileges or rights because they have shown that they can be trusted to fulfill their responsibilities. We talk about homework packets. We talk about completing homework packets last year my team did the homework packets, and I really hope that we continue that this year. Other responsibilities like chores at home, like your assignments in class, being responsible for turning them in by due dates and doing your personal best on them, having them written neatly, and those types of things that they get in previous years. But because the rigor of the work is increasing, the work is getting difficult or more difficult than in previous years. The workload is increasing, which means they have 4 or 5 content area classes where they will have homework or responsibilities that they have to attend to, and the time crunch is tightening up. So they may have a lot of things to do each night or several times a week. And so, in middle school, although these are addressed in the earlier grades, in middle schools, we really emphasize it because it's preparation for high school, where in middle school we still coach them and give them a lot more guidance with planners, and we teach them how to use planners. We teach them how to use different tools to help them with their executive function, with keeping track of things. In high school, the expectation is that they'll come ready and prepared, like they will already know how to manage their time. And so, God forbid that your 14-year-old gets to 9th grade and doesn't know how to manage a planner or a calendar on Google or something like that to keep up with their assignments. So, yeah. All right, and I've already talked about strengths and weaknesses. So students, academic strengths and weaknesses, it's important for them to understand what they are, so that if they, when you have a strength, it gives you opportunities. It opens up opportunities for you to be able to share, coach, teach, assist. If you want to, you're not required to, but oftentimes students who do excel in different areas find that when they coach or assist, do a peer assistance, that they not only are helping their friend or helping a student, a peer, but they're reinforcing their strength, their knowledge base, and they're probably understanding the content at a level even more in depth than they learned it in the class. So that's very helpful. I already talked about we diagnose and prescribe remediation for students, like when they take various assessments. Those assessments are even though we take a lot of them, and a lot of teachers feel that we are over tested. That's just how it is. So we have to comply, and so it's important though for us to pass on a meaningful and helpful attitude about testing to our students. And we tell them, yeah, we take a lot of tests, but so do athletes. Athletes do a lot of testing and assessments for their coach to see their level of readiness to play in a game, or if they mastered a certain technique or form or whatever. So, although some parents and some teachers feel that there's too much testing going on, when you look in our society, there's testing going on in a lot of different areas of life. So, I think that may just be the trend, and, we just want to have the right attitude. So when students or testing, that they will have a positive attitude about it. Monitoring students' progress is a part of the testing. Some of the testing can that we do, progress monitoring or common formative assessments, are used just to check to make sure that students are making gains and improving, or that they're continuing to develop their skills. And so you do progress monitoring, and like I remember in 8th grade when I took typing class. So we would do a typing test, a speed test, and an accuracy test. And Mrs. Holmes, my typing teacher, was testing to see if we were able to type so many words per minute accurately, if we were able to type sentences, phrases, paragraphs, longer passages, how fast and how accurately. And so nowadays I'm sure they do something similar in computer class or keyboarding class, or even in PE when they are running the mile or sprinting or doing different things like that. So, it's just a part of life. Another thing we teach in middle school, we emphasize communicating effectively, so that in reading class, students, they do have a listening and speaking standard that students learn and they practice. So we practice through reading plays, where students are orally reading parts in a play. Students will read poetry and different written works, speeches and things like that, to give them practice with speaking in front of groups and speaking, to larger groups, smaller groups, to a partner, or alone, where they will practice reading alone, or to the teacher. And so we also have a listening standard where students are required to listen to books and then answer questions or discuss what that chapter or that section of the book is talking about, where they may be required to listen to other type of text and then engage in some kind of dialogue or some sort of task to show that they really were listening and they know what was being discussed. We're trying to build student leaders, and many of our students are outgoing, and they will let you know that they are ready to lead because that's their personality. But some are outgoing, but they don't have the skill set required for them to successfully lead. And so you have to be able to determine, when you see a student who wants to lead but their skill set is not developed yet, then you have to help them to hone the skills so that they are prepared to lead a small group or lead a lesson on, like if they're reviewing some vocabulary words or whatever it is that they are going to be trusted to lead. So this is the life of a middle school teacher. This is what we do in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I'm really speaking from a 7th and 8th grade point of view because those are the grades that I teach, and I'm teaching from a reading teacher's perspective because that is the content area that I teach. All right, thank you so much for viewing the video. Be sure to like, thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you can know when more videos are uploaded. All right, be blessed. Bye.